Last night, while thumbing through the local internet, I stumbled onto a Honda generator, an 8 kilowatt Honda generator for a couple $100. The guy said it works perfect. He still was actively using it. I sent him a text. He said he still had it. He said he had it this morning. He actually responded to me this morning. It's about 2.5 hours away from Red Poppy Ranch. I jumped in my truck and took off, and I'm about an hour into the drive. I sent him a couple of texts. I called him. He's not answering. So I'm hoping that I'm not making a 2.5 hour drive over to Evanston, Wyoming for lunch. But I guess that's the worst case scenario, although I will say this is a very unique country. This is the sagebrush and rolling hills that, I don't know, this is ranch country. There's not a whole lot more you could do with this kind of land, but if nothing else, it's a beautiful drive, and again, I've never been here before, so I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what it's like, but hopefully this works out, so we'll see how it goes. After picking up the generator and getting back home, I discovered there was a Massey Ferguson 135 diesel tractor for sale within a few hours from the ranch as well. The Massey Ferguson 135 is a timeless tractor. Still to this day, it's a preferred tractor when grading or doing dirt work. They're typically at least $6,000, if not more, when in good condition. I found one that needed a little bit of work for the right price, so I jumped in the truck and I drove to a part of eastern Utah that I had never been to before. Beautiful country, but I didn't get home until about 2 in the morning. After getting the tractor back and looking at it, I was fairly certain it may need a head gasket. But after looking at it closer, it may in fact not be the head gasket, but there's something leaking on the front of the motor that I've got to address. The tractor's going to have to sit and wait until I have a little bit more time. My focus has been getting the beams and posts cut for the front porch before the weather changes. By having a front porch that we can sit under, it not only provides a secondary place for me to work, but just a place for us to sit and observe. One of the things that we've dreamed about doing for so long. After fine-tuning the sawmill and chasing down some new guide bearings for a couple of hours, it's now cutting better than it's ever cut. There's still a few things I would like to do to the sawmill to stiffen it up and to even guarantee it's going to cut better than it does now. But I couldn't be more happy with how my homemade sawmill is cutting. I've only got a few $100s tied up in it, and it's more than serving its purpose. The next step will be to chase down the necessary timber to build the shop with. I've had a number of significant moments in my life that helped me figure out how to deal with opposition. In my opinion, if you don't have opposition in your life, you're not doing anything worth talking about. I firmly believe that the most fulfilling things worth doing are going to have the most opposition. I've found this in jobs that I've had in the past, both with employers and employees, and I've found that oftentimes the greatest rewards are just around the corner from the most opposition. Over the last few years, I've had opposition in ways I never could have dreamed. Everything from health to wondering if I simply have the skill set to finish the projects that I've started, to weather, to you name it. Oftentimes, simple things that I thought would have been simple ended up being much more difficult. But what I've tried to do in these moments is to be grateful. Even on my worst day, I would still rather be doing this than anything else. My dad was very, very good at embracing the positive in some of the hardest moments of his life. Now we're so close to being finished with many of the things on the inside that I've been trying to put off most of the front room until there's snow on the ground. But myself and Cedar have decided that we might as well do the minimums to get our final inspections and be done with it. Every other room in the house is basically finished except for doors and trim. The front room has drywall and paint that still needs to be done, but again, I can still trim out the outlets and do the necessary things to meet code and get the final inspection. And as we finish the front room over winter, I'll have to pull the trim plates off and mask off the outlets, but we've decided this is the route that we're going to go. After changing out the guide bearings on the sawmill and adjusting the tension on the blade, it cuts even better. Now that I've got the sawmill fine-tuned, I can finish the posts and beams for the front porch. But the main focus will continue to be just getting the last couple of things done to get our final inspections in place. The weather's about to change. This is another form of opposition that we know is coming. But like most opposition in our life, rather than trying to fight it, I will use it for motivation to finish the projects that need to be done. Every once in a while, I need a swift kick just to remind me of the things that are important and that need to get done versus the things that I want to do. The most significant opposition I've had in my life has led to some of the greatest accomplishments. I firmly believe that when the opposition dwindles, I need to reevaluate where I'm spending my time. If you believe in good, there must be opposition. But the end result and the end reward are unlike anything I've ever had in my life otherwise. I'm grateful for opposition. Believe it or not, I'm grateful for those that choose to spend their time attempting to make my life more difficult. This has a tendency to create the motivation that I oftentimes need. When I don't feel physically well enough to do something, oftentimes this is the fuel that pushes me through. I'm most certainly thankful for opposition. I recently heard a celebrity refer to the comments on YouTube as the gutter of social media, that there's nothing positive there and there's nothing worth looking at. Now, I don't spend a whole lot of time looking through the comments on our videos, mainly because I just don't have the time to do it, but my wife Cedar does. But I do get a lot of messages on both Instagram, Facebook, and even emails. And there's a lot of responsibility that comes with some of these messages. And somewhere over the last few years, I realized that I have an opportunity to do some good with what we're doing here. And while I do have negative in my life, while I do fight my own battles between my ears, I'm going to embrace the positive and just express gratitude for those of you guys that, again, have followed us on this journey and that choose to embrace the positive, maybe when there's an opportunity for negative. I think we live in a world where the negative is magnified and it oftentimes floats to the surface. But I just, again, want to thank you guys for the positive comments, the positive messages, the positive emails, and again, just commend you for embracing the positive even when there might be an opportunity to express negative. And just again, thank you. It means a lot to us. Some of you guys have been here since day one and have watched all the videos, and again, that means the world to us that somebody would take that kind of an interest in our story. And I just want to say thank you. What do you want to say, Bandit?